At the crossroads of Europe and Asia, cradled by the formidable peaks of the Caucasus Mountains and kissed by the gentle waves of the Black Sea, lies a land of profound antiquity and vibrant, modern life. This is Georgia, Sakartvelo, as it is known to its people. It is a country etched into a dramatic landscape of soaring mountains, fertile valleys, and ancient, sun-drenched plains. For millennia, this terrain has shaped not just the history of a nation, but the very soul of its people. It is a place where the echoes of ancient empires, Persian, Ottoman, and Russian, have been absorbed and transformed into something fiercely and uniquely its own. This history is not a relic of the past. It is a living presence, felt in the stones of its ancient fortresses and in the unyielding spirit of its inhabitants. From the air, Georgia reveals itself as a tapestry of intense greens and deep, earthy browns. The mountains are not merely a backdrop, they are the country's spine, its fortress, and its sanctuary. They have protected a unique culture, a distinct language, and an ancient Christian faith against the tides of empires that have risen and fallen around it. These peaks, including some of Europe's highest, have created a mosaic of microclimates and isolated valleys where distinct dialects and traditions have flourished for centuries. To the west, the land softens as it slopes towards the Black Sea, its humid subtropical climate fostering a lushness of bamboo groves and citrus orchards. To the east, the landscape dries into semi-arid plains, a testament to the country's remarkable geographical diversity. But to look closer is to see a nation that is not defined by isolation, but by a deep and resilient spirit of connection to its faith, to its land, and most importantly, to one another. This is a story of life lived with passion, with pride, and with a deep appreciation for the simple, enduring rhythms of family, food, and community. This is the story of living in Georgia. Life in Georgia is governed by a rhythm that feels both ancient and refreshingly unhurried. The atmosphere is a unique blend of Mediterranean warmth and a distinctly Caucasian spirit of resilience. In the capital city of Tbilisi, life unfolds in the city's famous courtyards, shared spaces that function as outdoor living rooms where the private lives of families spill out into the community. These courtyards, often hidden behind unassuming street-front facades, are worlds unto themselves. Grapevines climb the walls, laundry lines crisscross the open space, and the air is a symphony of domestic sounds. Here, the scent of freshly brewed coffee mixes with the sound of neighbors chatting from their balconies and the laughter of children playing. Even in this bustling capital, there is a pervasive sense of intimacy, a village-like feel where community is not an abstract concept, but a daily, lived reality. The Georgian people, the Kartvelabi, are known for their immense warmth, their expressive nature, and a deep, unwavering pride in their heritage. Life is lived with an emotional intensity, where joy is celebrated with gusto and sorrow is shared with profound empathy. Conversations are animated, filled with gestures and a directness that speaks to a culture that values sincerity. The pace of life is deliberate. Business meetings might begin with a long, unhurried conversation about family. A trip to the local market can turn into an hour of tasting, talking, and catching up on local news. This is a society that prioritizes human connection over the relentless ticking of the clock, a place where time is measured not in minutes, but in moments shared. There is an understanding that the most important things in life, a good meal, a deep conversation, a shared song, cannot be rushed. This philosophy is woven into the fabric of everyday existence, creating a sense of groundedness that can feel like a balm in the modern world. Daily life in Georgia is deeply rooted in the concept of community. In the sprawling cities and the smallest mountain villages, the day often begins with simple, time-honored routines. In the countryside, it might be the sound of a cowbell or the first light touching the vineyards. For many, the first stop of the morning is the local market, the bazaar. These are not just places to buy food. They are vibrant, chaotic, and essential hubs of social life. The air is thick with the scent of fresh cilantro, tarragon, and basil, mingling with the sharp aroma of pickled vegetables and the earthy smell of potatoes still dusted with soil. Here, amidst pyramids of ripe tomatoes, fragrant herbs, and wheels of salty Sulguni cheese, friendships are maintained, gossip is exchanged, and the pulse of the community can be felt. Haggling is a friendly, expected ritual, a form of social interaction as much as a business transaction. Apartment living in the cities is often defined by the neighborhood. The bonds between neighbors are strong, forged over decades of shared history and mutual support. It is common for a neighbor to drop by unannounced with a plate of freshly made khachapuri, or for an entire building to come together to help a family in need. This culture of interdependence is perhaps most powerfully expressed in the Georgian tradition of hospitality. Hospitality here is not merely a custom, it is a sacred duty, a cornerstone of the national identity. An ancient Georgian saying declares that a guest is a gift from God. Visitors are welcomed with an open-hearted generosity that is both humbling and deeply moving. To be invited into a Georgian home is to be treated not as a stranger, but as a cherished member of the family, to be seated at the head of the table and offered the very best of what the household has to provide. The host will feel a genuine sense of honor in your presence, and no expense or effort will be spared to ensure your comfort and happiness. Family is the bedrock of Georgian society. The bonds between generations are exceptionally strong, with grandparents, parents, and children often living together or in close proximity. The elderly are treated with immense respect, their wisdom and experience valued as a precious resource. Grandparents, the bebia and babua, play a central role in raising children, passing down stories, recipes, and cultural values. Family gatherings are frequent, loud, and joyous occasions centered around a shared meal that can last for hours. These gatherings are the glue that holds the society together, a time for reinforcing bonds, telling stories, and passing down traditions from one generation to the next. They are the moments when the collective memory of the family is renewed and celebrated. Tradition in Georgia is a powerful, living force that permeates every aspect of daily life. It is the anchor that gives the nation its unique and unshakable identity. At the heart of this identity is the Georgian language, Kartuli, a language with no known relatives whose unique and beautiful script dates back to the 5th century. This alphabet, with its elegant curving letters, is a source of immense national pride and a visible symbol of Georgia's distinct cultural path. To hear Georgian spoken is to hear the echo of millennia, a sound that is both poetic and strong. The spiritual heart of the nation is the Georgian Orthodox Church. Georgia was one of the first countries in the world to adopt Christianity as a state religion in the 4th century, and the faith has been an inseparable part of the national consciousness ever since. The story of Saint Nino, the young woman from Cappadocia who brought Christianity to Georgia, is known by every child. The faith has been a unifying force through centuries of invasion and upheaval, a sanctuary for the language and the culture. The landscape is dotted with ancient churches and monasteries, often perched in the most dramatic and inaccessible locations, from the iconic Gergeti Trinity Church under the shadow of Mount Kazbek to the sprawling cave monastery of Vardzia, carved into the side of a cliff. These are not just historical monuments. They are active places of worship, centers of community life, and powerful symbols of a faith that has endured. The sound of Georgian polyphonic singing, a UNESCO-recognized intangible cultural treasure, is an essential part of the religious experience. Its complex, haunting harmonies, sung without instruments, are considered by many to be the voice of the nation's soul. Different regions have their own distinct styles. The complex, intricate harmonies of Guria contrast with the austere, resonant drone of Kakiti, each a unique expression of the local character. Perhaps the most famous Georgian tradition is the supra, or feast. A supra is far more than just a meal. It is a highly structured and deeply meaningful ritual, a celebration of life, community, and culture. At the head of every supra is the tamada, or toastmaster, a figure of immense importance. The tamada is chosen for their eloquence, wit, and wisdom. They lead the feast through a series of toasts to God, to Georgia, to peace, to family, to ancestors, and to the guests. Each toast is a miniature speech, a philosophical reflection, or a heartfelt story, and it sets the tone for the entire table. The toasts are not drunk randomly. There is a specific order and a deep significance to each one. The tamada must be a skilled orator, a historian, a poet, and a philosopher, all in one. The supra is a powerful, unifying experience, a ceremony that reinforces the core values of Georgian society: generosity, friendship, and a deep reverence for the past. It is an academy of culture where the young learn from the old, and the bonds of the community are forged anew with every glass of wine raised. The Georgian economy has long been tied to the richness of its soil. Agriculture remains a vital part of life, especially in the rural regions. The country is a bountiful garden, producing a wealth of fruits, vegetables, and nuts, with the walnut being a particularly essential ingredient in the national cuisine. Georgia is also one of the world's leading producers of hazelnuts, and its citrus fruits from the Black Sea coast are prized for their flavor. For centuries, the rhythm of life in the countryside has been dictated by the agricultural calendar: the planting, the growing, and the harvest. Nowhere is this connection to the land more evident than in Georgia's ancient tradition of winemaking. This is, by all historical accounts, the birthplace of wine, with archaeological evidence of viticulture dating back over 8,000 years. Wine is not just a beverage in Georgia, it is a national treasure, an integral part of the culture and a source of immense pride. The Kakiti region is the heart of Georgian wine country, its landscape a patchwork of endless vineyards. Here, the ancient method of making wine in a kvivre, a large egg-shaped clay vessel buried underground, is still practiced alongside modern European-style production. This traditional method, also recognized by UNESCO, involves fermenting the grapes, skins, seeds, and stems included in these subterranean vessels, which gives the wine a unique character, a deep amber color, and a rich tannic structure. The annual grape harvest, the Arteveli, is a joyous communal celebration, a time when families and friends come together to work, feast, and give thanks for the bounty of the land. In recent decades, the economy has been diversifying. Tourism has become a major driver of growth, as visitors from around the world are drawn to Georgia's stunning landscapes, rich history, and renowned hospitality. In Tbilisi, a vibrant and dynamic modern economy is taking root. A new generation of entrepreneurs is building businesses in technology, design, and hospitality. The city is buzzing with a creative energy, with co-working spaces, modern cafes, and innovative startups appearing alongside the traditional workshops of artisans and craftsmen. This creates a dynamic contrast between the city and the countryside, between a fast-paced, globally connected urban life and a rural existence that remains deeply connected to the land and its timeless seasons. The challenge for the nation is to ensure that the benefits of this new economy are spread more evenly, bridging the gap between the rapidly modernizing cities and the rural areas that are the custodians of the country's traditional soul. To understand Georgia is to taste its food. The cuisine is a direct and delicious expression of the country's culture and geography, generous, flavorful, and deeply satisfying. It is a cuisine built on the principles of freshness and simplicity, where the quality of the ingredients is paramount. The cornerstones of the Georgian table are bread, cheese, and wine. Freshly baked bread, or puri, is an essential part of every meal, often baked in a traditional clay oven called a tone, which gives it a unique, crispy crust and a soft, airy interior. The sight of a baker skillfully slapping the dough onto the hot inner wall of the tone is a common and beloved feature of urban and rural life. The most iconic Georgian dish is arguably khachapuri, a warm, cheese-filled bread that varies in shape and style from region to region. The Imeretian version is a simple, cheese-filled circle, while the Megrelian version adds another layer of cheese on top. The most famous version, from the Ajara region on the Black Sea coast, is shaped like a boat, filled with molten cheese and topped with a raw egg and a pat of butter. Another beloved national dish is khinkali, savory dumplings typically filled with spiced meat and herbs. Eating khinkali is an art in itself. They are meant to be eaten by hand, holding the top knot of dough, carefully biting a small hole to slurp out the hot, flavorful broth before eating the rest. Georgian cuisine is characterized by its liberal use of fresh herbs such as cilantro, tarragon, and basil, and the rich, earthy flavor of walnuts. Walnuts are used in countless dishes, from the thick, savory stew satsivi to the ubiquitous dipping sauce bhaji and the sweet, candle-shaped candy churchkela. Vegetable dishes, known as kali, are made from minced spinach, beets, or other vegetables combined with ground walnuts, garlic, and herbs. A Georgian meal is a feast for the senses, a vibrant and diverse spread of dishes meant to be shared. It is food that is designed for long, convivial gatherings, food that nourishes not just the body, but the spirit of togetherness. It reflects a history of trade along the Silk Road, with subtle influences from Persia and the Mediterranean, all combined into a culinary tradition that is uniquely Georgian. The natural world is an ever-present and powerful force in Georgian life. The landscape is one of staggering beauty and diversity, from the eternal snows of the high Caucasus to the lush, subtropical coastline of the Black Sea. For Georgians, the mountains are not just a geographical feature. They are a source of inspiration, a symbol of strength, and a place for spiritual and physical renewal. The great Georgian poets, like Vazhab Shavela, wrote extensively about the relationship between humans and the mountains, capturing a worldview steeped in a deep respect for nature. Hiking is a national passion. On weekends, the trails leading out of the cities are filled with people of all ages, seeking the clean air and profound silence of the mountains. Ancient paths, once used by traders and shepherds, now lead adventurers to some of the most spectacular scenery on Earth, from the remote, tower-filled villages of Svaneti to the dramatic landscapes around Kazbegi. The life of the shepherd, a figure of romantic and practical importance in Georgian culture, continues much as it has for centuries, a life of solitude and deep connection to the rhythms of nature. They practice a form of seasonal migration known as transhumance, moving their flocks to high alpine pastures in the summer and returning to the valleys in the winter, a cycle that is as old as the mountains themselves. In the east, the rolling hills of the Kakheti wine region offer a gentler, more pastoral beauty, a landscape that invites a slower, more contemplative pace of life. And in the west, the Black Sea coast, with its modern resort city of Batumi, provides a place for relaxation and recreation. The seasons in Georgia bring dramatic transformations to the landscape, and life is lived in close harmony with these changes. The vibrant green of spring gives way to the sun-drenched abundance of summer, followed by the golden hues of the autumn harvest, and finally, the quiet, snow-covered stillness of winter. This deep, abiding connection to the natural world is a fundamental part of what it means to be Georgian. It fosters a sense of perspective, a humility in the face of forces far greater than oneself, and a profound appreciation for the beauty that surrounds them. For a country with such formidable geography, Georgia is a nation on the move. A network of roads, some modern and well-maintained, others rugged and challenging, connects the cities and villages. The most common form of public transport is the marshrutka, a shared minibus that is the workhorse of the nation, ferrying people between towns and across mountain passes. A journey in a marshrutka is an experience in itself, a microcosm of Georgian society filled with conversation, shared snacks, and breathtaking views. The drivers are often masters of their challenging routes, navigating hairpin turns with a practiced ease, while the passengers form a temporary community, looking out for one another. The railway system provides a more comfortable and relaxed way to travel between the major cities, connecting the capital, Tbilisi, with the Black Sea coast and the western regions. In Tbilisi itself, a clean and efficient metro system, a legacy of the Soviet era, moves hundreds of thousands of people beneath the city streets each day. In recent years, there has been a significant investment in infrastructure, with new highways being built to shorten travel times and improve connections between regions. This modernization exists alongside a deep-seated traditional culture. It is a defining paradox of modern Georgian life. In a remote mountain village where life follows ancient patterns, it is not uncommon to find a guest house with high-speed fiber optic internet. Young people in Tbilisi are as connected to global trends through social media as their counterparts in any European capital. Yet they will still return home for a traditional family supra. This ability to seamlessly blend the ancient and the modern, to hold on to a powerful sense of identity while embracing the opportunities of the 21st century, is a key to understanding the resilience and dynamism of contemporary Georgia. It is a society in constant, gentle negotiation with itself, finding ways to innovate without losing its soul. The future of Georgia rests in the hands of its young people, a generation that is navigating the complex space between tradition and modernity. Education is highly valued, and the universities in Tbilisi are vibrant centers of learning and intellectual life, drawing students from all over the country. For many ambitious young Georgians, a period of study or work abroad is seen as an important rite of passage, a chance to gain new skills and experience the wider world. This experience often creates a powerful pull between two worlds. They are drawn to the opportunities and dynamism of global cities, but they also feel the deep, magnetic pull of home. A significant number choose to return, bringing with them new ideas, global perspectives, and a desire to contribute to the development of their country. They return to the powerful embrace of family, to the comfort of a close-knit community, and to a quality of life that is measured in more than just material success. This dynamic of brain drain, followed by brain gain, is shaping the country's future, infusing it with new energy and expertise. The great challenge for young Georgians is to find a way to build a future that honors the past. They are a generation that is deeply proud of their cultural heritage, their language, and their traditions, but they are also eager to innovate and create a modern, prosperous, and globally connected Georgia. This tension is visible in the vibrant arts and music scene in Tbilisi, where traditional motifs are reimagined in contemporary forms, and in the passionate debates about the country's political and social direction. It is a delicate balancing act, one that is played out every day in their careers, their families, and their personal lives. The rhythm of life in Georgia is marked by a distinct and beautiful contrast between day and night. The daytime is a time for work, for activity, for commerce. The streets of the cities are filled with energy, the markets are bustling, and the offices are busy. The sounds of the day are a mixture of the old and the new, the rumble of traffic, the calls of street vendors, the distant chime of church bells, and the constant hum of conversation. It is a time for productivity, for building, for moving forward. The energy is outward-looking, focused on the tasks of the day. But as evening descends, a profound shift occurs. Life turns inward. The focus moves from the public sphere to the private, from the office to the home. The evening is a time for family, for friends, for the sacred ritual of the shared meal. As lights begin to glow in the windows of apartments and houses, a sense of warmth and tranquility settles over the towns and villages. The long, unhurried dinners, the heartfelt conversations, the sound of music and laughter. This is the time when the bonds of community are reaffirmed and the soul of the nation is recharged. In Tbilisi, the city lights create a magical glow against the surrounding hills, but the true warmth emanates from the countless homes where families are gathered, sharing stories and celebrating the simple, profound joy of being together. The evening is not seen as an end to the day, but as its culmination, the time when the fruits of the day's labor are enjoyed in the company of loved ones. Life in this ancient and beautiful land is not without its significant challenges. The transition to a modern market economy has brought both opportunities and hardships. Economic pressures are a constant reality for many families, and there is a significant gap between life in the prosperous capital and the often struggling rural regions. Unemployment and underemployment remain persistent issues, forcing many to seek work abroad. The depopulation of villages, as young people leave to seek education and work in the cities, is a serious concern, threatening the continuity of traditional ways of life and leaving an aging population to tend the ancestral lands. Georgia also exists in a complex and often volatile geopolitical neighborhood. Its history is one of a constant struggle for independence, and the nation continues to navigate a delicate path to secure its sovereignty and build a stable, democratic future. The unresolved conflicts over the territories of Abkhazia and South Ossetia cast a long shadow, a source of national pain and a constant reminder of the fragility of peace in the region. And there is the ever-present cultural challenge of balancing modernization with the preservation of a unique and precious heritage. How does a nation open itself to the world without losing the very things that make it special? How does it manage the growth of tourism to prevent popular sites from being overwhelmed, a phenomenon already being debated in places like Kazbegi and Svaneti? How does it build a modern economy while protecting its pristine natural environment? These are the profound questions that Georgians are grappling with a characteristic blend of passion, pragmatism, and resilience. So why do people choose to stay? In a world that offers endless possibilities, what is the anchor that holds them to this small nation in the Caucasus? The answer is found not in one thing, but in a powerful combination of forces. They stay for the unbreakable bonds of family, for a support system that is more powerful than any institution. They stay for the profound sense of belonging, for the comfort of living in a place where they are known, understood, and valued, where their personal history is interwoven with the collective history of the nation. Georgia exists in a state of graceful and resilient balance, between an ancient past and an ambitious future, between the solemnity of its faith and the joyous celebration of life, between a fierce independence and a legendary warmth. It is a nation shaped by the enduring strength of its mountains and the profound depth of its history. Here, life is measured in the richness of the harvest, in the sincerity of a toast, in the warmth of an embrace, and in the simple, everyday beauty of a culture that has mastered the art of living with heart. It is a place where the weight of a long and often difficult history has not crushed the spirit, but has instead forged a character of remarkable strength, creativity, and an unyielding love for life. In a world that is constantly changing, that often feels disconnected and rushed, Georgia remains a testament to the enduring power of faith, family, and a deep, unshakable connection to home.